Hey everyone, welcome to In Class with Mrs. Brown. I am Mrs. Brown. Today we're going to talk about independent clauses. Do you know what those are? When it comes to grammar, does it make you like afraid and want to run away? Well, don't worry. I'm going to make it very easy for you. I help parents who want their students to become excellent writers. So pull up a chair and let's talk about independent clauses. First of all, let's break down both of these words. Independent. What does independent mean? It means that something does not need help. Independent. When it comes to clauses, a clause that's independent does not need help to make sense. It actually stands alone. So I like to think of these as my house clauses. So first of all, I can't draw, so I need you to know I'm not an artist. I teach writing and grammar. So no laughing at me, no judgment, but if you want to grab a piece of paper and draw a house of your own, we can put a little door on that, make it look a little bit more like a house. Think about your independent clauses as your house clauses. Houses don't need any help. We live in them by themselves. They stand alone. Okay? This will make sense when you come back and watch my video about dependent clauses. So just think about independent as a house, stands alone, all by itself. We live in a house all by itself. Now let's talk about the word clause. What does that mean? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. So let's just write above this subject plus verb. Now, you might be saying, Mrs. Brown, I actually don't remember what a subject and a verb are. Well, don't worry. Let's talk about those and then we'll break down the independent clause more and give some examples. A subject can either be a noun, words that are functioning as a noun. A subject can also be a pronoun. A pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. So a noun, just to refresh our memories, a noun is a person, place, thing, activity, or idea. For example, Mrs. Brown is a noun, or students would be a noun, or plant would be a noun, or pen would be a noun. A pronoun to replace the noun to avoid repetition for Mrs. Brown would be she. Maybe for plant or pen, you would say it. If we're talking about a group of people, you would say they as a pronoun. So a subject can be a noun or a group of words that's functioning as a noun. A subject can also be a pronoun. Next up, we have verb. Verb. Go ahead and if you have a piece of paper, just follow along with me. A verb, there are three kinds, okay? Verbs show action. Those are the ones that are, easiest for us to identify. For example, if I took the noun Mrs. Brown and I might say an action for me would be teaches. Mrs. Brown teaches. Another type of verb would be a linking verb. A linking verb. Now, linking verbs link the subject to either an adjective that describes it or a noun that renames it. Let me give you an example. Mrs. Brown is happy. Is my linking verb. Happy is describing me. Let me give you an example where the linking verb is linking me, Mrs. Brown, to a noun that renames me. Mrs. Brown is a teacher. See? Easy peasy. Now, the last kind of verb that we have is a helping verb. Helping verb. So just write helping. I'm running out of room here on my board. And helping verbs help action verbs, and linking verbs. Okay? For example, Mrs. Brown does teach. Okay? So now that you know that independent means that it doesn't need help, clause means that it's a group of words where we have a subject and a verb. And this is just the way I abbreviate independent clause. So let's just write I see in here. I see. This is an independent clause. And a clause has a subject. A subject is a noun or a pronoun, and a verb is a word that shows action, links two words together, or helps another verb. Let me give you a sentence and then we'll be all done for the day. Here we go. Let me use I'll have it. The team won. Well, let's make it a little bit longer. The team won the game. All right, let us ask ourselves, is this independent? Do these words make sense all by themselves and they do not need help to make sense? The team won the game. That makes sense. Check. Do these groups of does this group of word have a subject and a verb? A noun or a pronoun that is either showing action, being linked to an adjective or another noun. Let's check it out. Who or what is this sentence about? Team. Team is our subject. All right. What is being said about the team? Is there an action that they performed? Yes, they won. Won. So this is our verb. And I like to also label the kind of verb we have here. It's an action verb, so just put a little A in front of it. Okay, that wasn't so hard, was it? Now you know what an independent clause is, and you know all the parts that make up an independent clause. Listen, I am going to be launching my self-paced video courses this summer, and if you want to be the first to know about them, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the link in the description below. But before you go, make sure that you build your own independent clause and post it in the comments. All right, take care. That's it for today with Write with Mrs. Brown and In Class with Mrs. Brown. Take good care.